The USS Independence slipped out of hyperspace with a silent shudder. Captain James Henderson gripped the railing as his huge warship entered the Kethrin system. The bridge crew worked at their stations while blue lights glowed across the room. "Captain, I'm picking up ships," called out Tony Miller from his position at the sensors. "Many ships, all around us." "Show me," Henderson ordered. The main screen lit up. Alien vessels surrounded the Independence. Ships of different shapes and sizes hung motionless in space. Some looked like giant metal spiders. Others were round and smooth. A few had long, sharp edges that cut through the darkness. "They're not moving," said Pete Garcia, the weapons officer. "Just sitting there." Commander Amy Brooks counted the ships on her display. 32 vessels, sir. They're forming a circle around us." The communications board beeped rapidly. "Captain, we're getting signals from all directions," reported Kate Wilson. "Dozens of different languages. The translator is struggling to keep up." "Play what you can understand," Henderson said. Static filled the air. Then voices in broken English. "It cannot be. The humans have found us. We are finished." Tony looked confused. "Sir, why aren't they attacking? Their weapons are active but not locked on us." Henderson studied the strange formation. The alien ships didn't look like they were planning an attack. They seemed to be protecting something behind them, or maybe protecting themselves from the Independence. "Sir," Pete spoke up, "I've been tracking their power levels. None of them have full weapons charge. It's like they're afraid to power up completely." The captain walked to the center of the bridge. 25 years in the Navy had taught him many things, but this was new. An entire fleet frozen in fear at the sight of one human ship. "Amy, what species are we dealing with?" he asked his first. Officer Brooks worked her console, pulling up data. "Scans show at least 8 different species, sir, including the Kethrins, Zoraki, and Helix. Some of these groups are at war with each other. But they're all here. Together," Henderson said, slowly. "Facing us." A private channel crackled to life. "Human ship, this is Admiral Kethanar of the Kethrin Defense Fleet." The translated voice sounded careful, measured. "We request permission to speak with your commander. This is Captain Henderson. Go ahead." "Captain, we know why you are here. We did not believe the stories, but seeing your ship, we understand now. We wish to discuss terms." Henderson frowned. "Terms? For what?" There was a pause. "Terms for our surrender, of course." Lieutenant Rick Thompson arrived on the bridge carrying coffee for the captain. He stopped short, seeing everyone's faces. "What's happening?" he asked. "The aliens think we're here to conquer them," explained Kate. "They want to surrender." "Surrender? We just got here," Rick said, putting down the coffee. The Admiral's voice returned. "Captain, we have sent word to the other systems. The human warship has arrived. The stories were true." "What stories?" Henderson demanded. Another voice took over, younger, nervous. "The battles, the victories, how a single human ship destroyed the Morgath Empire, how you turned 3 suns into weapons, how you made Kravak fleets disappear." Henderson looked at his crew. They looked back with equal confusion. "Get me ship records," he told Brooks. "What missions have we run in the last year?" She pulled up the data. "Standard patrols, sir, a few supply runs, that training exercise near the Orion cluster." Tony checked his system. "Sir, that training exercise, we used practice mines. No actual weapons were fired." The alien voice continued listing human victories. Each tale grew wilder than the last. Ships that could phase through stars. Weapons that could crack planets in half. Engines that could outrun light itself. "This is insane," Pete muttered. "None of this happened." Captain Henderson pressed the communications button. "Admiral, I think there's been a misunderstanding. We've never done any of these things." "Of course not," the Admiral replied. "You are too modest. All the greatest warriors deny their deeds at first." Kate pulled up historical data on her screen. "Sir, I'm finding entries about human ships. They go back 10 years. Every mission we've done has been recorded, but the details are wrong. Very wrong." Henderson read through the files. The supply run to Beta Station had become an assault on a fortress. The engine repair mission at Sigma 4 was now a story about humans fixing a star. Every little thing we did, he said softly. They made it bigger, scarier. Rick looked out at the alien fleet. But why? Fear, Henderson answered. They were afraid of what they didn't understand, so they made us into monsters. The Admiral's voice cut in again. We await your demands, Captain. We hope you will be merciful to our people. Henderson sighed. This would take a lot of explaining. No demands, Admiral. We're explorers, not conquerors. I think we need to talk. Face to face. The bridge was quiet, as everyone waited for a response. You wish to negotiate? The translator couldn't hide the surprise in the Admiral's voice. I wish to understand, Henderson said. And I think you need to understand us better too. The alien ships shifted, slightly. For the first time since arriving, they didn't look ready to either fight or flee. They looked curious. We will prepare to receive a delegation, the Admiral said finally. Perhaps the stories are wrong. Henderson smiled at his crew. Let's go introduce ourselves properly and set the record straight. As preparations began for the meeting, Henderson looked out at the ringed fleet. 32 ships, 8 species, all united by fear of humans they had never met. Today, that fear would end. Today, understanding would begin. The USS Independence hadn't come to conquer the galaxy, but maybe, just maybe, it had come to save it from its own fears. The conference room hummed with tension. 4 hours after first contact, Captain Henderson sat across from alien beings he'd only seen in training videos. The Kethrin Admiral resembled a giant mantis with bronze armor plating. The Zoraki ambassador was a floating mass of tentacles. The Helix representative looked like a walking crystal. Beside them sat delegates from 5 other species. These stories, Henderson began, setting down a digital tablet. Your files say we destroyed the Grimmeth fleet at Proxima. We've never been to Proxima. We've never seen a Grimmeth. The Kethrin Admiral clicked his mandibles nervously. But the reports, the survivors. What survivors? Asked Dr. Ron Peterson, the ship's science officer, who served as translator specialist. From the battle, clicked the Zoraki through its translator collar. 3 survivors escaped in life pods. They saw human ships phase through 3 suns using stellar matter as shields. Henderson rubbed his temples. That's physically impossible. Our ships can't phase through suns. Lieutenant Mike Chang, the engineering specialist who'd joined them, pulled up schematics on the table display. Even our theoretical physics doesn't support that. We'd burn up instantly. The Crystal Helix delegate pulsed green. But the tactical analysis shows perfect maneuvers. The Grimmeth had superior numbers. Only beings of incredible power could have won. Maybe there were other ships, Henderson suggested. Not human ships. The survivors identified specific markings, the Kethrin insisted. The writing said, Earth in ancient galactic standard. Henderson's mind raced. Earth had been sending ships for 20 years, but always in small numbers. Exploration vessels, science ships, occasional military patrols, nothing like what was being described. Show us the survivor reports, he requested. The Zoraki projected holographic footage. 3 aliens in damaged escape pods broadcasting through static. Their translators garbled the words, but images showed massive human-like vessels surrounded by fire and stellar plasma. Wait, Rick Thompson spoke up. Those ships, they're not standard design. The hull structures are wrong. Mike examined the footage closer. Captain, those aren't any human ships I've ever seen. The engine signatures are different. The hull geometry doesn't match our standards. Could be modifications, the Admiral suggested. No, Henderson said firmly. Every human ship follows strict design protocols, safety requirements, anti-radiation shielding. These ships would kill their crews. The room fell silent. The implications were staggering. 3 hours into the meeting, the truth began to emerge. Each species presented their evidence of human atrocities and impossible victories. The Helix showed footage of a human ship leading a fleet through a black hole. Except Dr. Peterson immediately noted the timestamps were wrong, and the black hole physics were impossible to render correctly. "The video is edited," he explained, "multiple sources spliced together. The Zoraki produced energy signatures from a battle where humans supposedly used gravity wells as weapons. But Mike compared them to known signatures and found clear evidence of energy-type weapons, not gravitational manipulation. Someone faked these readings," Mike reported. "Added false gravitational variances to standard energy weapon data." Henderson watched realization dawn on the alien faces. Their evidence was fabricated, but by whom and why? "The vortex incident," the Catherine finally said softly. "You remember? When humans allegedly reversed a wormhole collapse?" "We helped stabilize a wormhole," Henderson confirmed. "It was emergency assistance. A civilian transport was trapped in the gravity field. The reports say you controlled the wormhole, made it collapse backwards, saved 6 systems from destruction. We used electromagnetic field generators to stabilize the event horizon," Mike explained. "Standard emergency procedure. Any ship with proper equipment could have done it." But the aliens shook their heads. "No one else has ever succeeded. Wormhole physics is too complex." "Maybe no one else tried," Rick suggested. As pieces fell into place, a disturbing pattern emerged. Every human action had been documented accurately, then altered and exaggerated. Supply runs became military campaigns. Scientific experiments became weapon tests. Emergency rescues became displays of godlike power. "Someone's been rewriting our history," Henderson concluded, "making us appear far more dangerous than we are." The Helix delegate pulsed red, indicating deep thought. "We should consider who benefits from this deception. Fear brings unity," the Zoraki observed. 7 of our species have been at war for centuries. Only the threat of human invasion brought us together." The Catherine Admiral's antennae twitched. "The Council of Admiralty was formed specifically to counter the human threat. Before that, coordination between our fleets was impossible." Henderson leaned forward. "Who leads this council?" "Grand Admiral Voss Krenel of the Morgath Empire," the Catherine replied. "The Morgath?" Dr. Peterson checked his database. "They're the ones who allegedly were destroyed by humans at Proxima." More pieces clicked together. "Show me Voss Krenel's ship specifications," Henderson requested. The Helix projected the data. Henderson and Mike studied it carefully. The ship designs were advanced, far beyond what most species possessed, but some features looked familiar. "These engine configurations," Mike said slowly. "They're based on human designs, old ones from 20 years ago." "How would they get those?" Rick asked. "The first human exploration ships," Dr. Peterson recalled. 3 went missing in deep space. They carried full technical databases. The aliens exchanged glances, or whatever passed for glances among their diverse anatomies. "Krenel rose to power 15 years ago," the Catherine said. "About the time the first human stories began spreading." Henderson felt the puzzle coming together. He found our lost ships, got our technology, then created a threat to unite the galaxy under his control. "But the survivors," the Zoraki protested. "The battle footage, holographic technology," Mike interrupted. "Human designs from those stolen databases, fake battles to create real fear." The meeting extended into night cycles. Each species revealed more information, building the picture of an elaborate deception. Admiral Krenel had positioned himself as the galaxy's protector against the human menace he'd invented. Military contracts, resource allocations, research, funding. The Helix listed. "The Morgath have benefited enormously from this crisis, and our species have exhausted our resources preparing for a war that doesn't exist," the Catherine added bitterly. Henderson stood up. "We need to expose this. All evidence of human attacks, analyze it, find the alterations, prove the deception." "But Krenel controls the fleet," the Zoraki warned. "He has hundreds of ships. Ships built to fight humans, Henderson mused. Using outdated human tech against actual human technology, how would they fare? The aliens considered this. Their fear had been based on legends and lies. Real humans with current technology and tactical knowledge might be very different opponents. The independence alone isn't enough, Rick warned his captain. No, Henderson agreed. But the truth might be. If we expose Krenel's lies to the entire galaxy, his power base dissolves. The Helix delegate dimmed to show concern. He won't surrender power easily. Krenel will claim you're part of the threat he warned about. Then we'll prove him wrong, Henderson declared. By helping, not hurting. By building trust, not fear. The Kethrin Admiral clicked thoughtfully. A bold strategy. But consider, if Krenel realizes his deception is failing, he might attempt to create a real human threat. False flag operations. Actual attacks blamed on your people. Henderson's expression darkened. Then we better move fast. As the meeting concluded, the USS Independence had gained unexpected allies. The alien fleet remained, but now as potential protectors rather than captors. Together they would uncover the truth and stop the war before it began. 48 hours after the truth began to emerge, the USS Independence found itself in an impossible position. Reports poured in from across the galaxy. Ships bearing the Independence's signature appeared in systems the ship had never visited. Each attack was blamed on humans. "Captain," Tony Miller called out from his sensor station. "Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. Morgath design. They're broadcasting surrender signals." On the view screen, 5 sleek vessels emerged, their hulls painted with the distinctive spiral pattern of the Morgath Empire. But something was wrong. "Sir," Pete Garcia reported from weapons, "their configurations don't match any known Morgath specs. And their energy signatures, they're modified," Mike Chang finished, looking up from his engineering console, "using technology stolen from our missing ships." The lead vessel opened communications. A figure appeared on screen. Admiral Voss Krenel himself. His appearance matched the description perfectly. Tall, humanoid, with metallic skin that appeared to shift colors, but his eyes held a dangerous intelligence. "Captain Henderson," Krenel's voice was smooth as oil, "we surrender the Kethrin system. We cannot hope to match your power." "This is a trick," Rick Thompson whispered to the captain. Henderson nodded slightly. "Admiral Krenel, we're not here for conquest. We want to discuss the misunderstanding about human activities in this sector." Krenel's expression shifted slightly. "Misunderstanding? You deny the attacks on Proxima? The destruction of my fleet?" "Your fleet is right behind you," Henderson pointed out. "And those attacks were faked. We have proof." For a moment, Krenel's mask slipped. Real anger flashed across his face before he regained control. "Proof? How fascinating. I would like to see this proof." "Transport aboard," Henderson invited. "We'll present everything." 2 hours later, the real game began. Krenel didn't come alone. He brought 5 advisors, each equipped with sophisticated recording equipment. They took seats at the conference table while human and allied species representatives gathered evidence displays. "The Battle of Proxima," Henderson began, bringing up holographic data. "Your survivors described ships that don't exist, energy patterns that violate known physics." "Perhaps your physics are more advanced than we know," Krenel suggested smoothly. "These aren't physics differences," Dr. Peterson countered. "These are editing errors. Timestamps don't match. Stellar positions are wrong. These battles occurred in different systems than claimed." Krenel's advisors whispered among themselves. One of them, a small reptilian being, suddenly stood up. "Captain Henderson," the advisor spoke. "In the name of the Morgath Technical Council, I request asylum." Krenel's eyes narrowed dangerously. "Director Voss, you forget your place." "My place was forced upon me," the director replied, moving away from Krenel. "I helped create the holograms, the false battle data, the fear campaign. I have kept records as protection." The room erupted. 2 of Krenel's guards moved toward the director, but human security personnel blocked them. You have a choice, Henderson told Krenel's other advisors. Tell the truth now, or remain part of the lie. One by one, Krenel's advisors switched sides. Each revealed pieces of the massive deception. How they'd modified human technology from the lost ships. How they'd planted false evidence across the galaxy. How they'd assassinated anyone who questioned the narrative too loudly. You've destroyed me, Krenel said quietly, but his voice carried rage. You destroyed yourself, Henderson replied, by creating an enemy that didn't exist. But Krenel had one final card to play. He triggered a hidden communicator in his sleeve. Code Black 7. Initiate Final Protocol. Across the system, sleeper ships activated. These vessels had been positioned weeks earlier, disguised as civilian craft. Now they revealed their true nature, armed with weapons designed to mimic human energy signatures. Captain, Tony shouted. Energy spikes throughout the system. Ships are powering weapons. The view screen split into multiple feeds. Morgath vessels began attacking Allied positions, but crucially, their weapons created signatures that matched human technology from the stolen databases. He's trying to force us to attack, Amy Brooks realized. If we fight back, we prove him right. Or if we don't fight, Pete added. Allies die and blame us for letting it happen. Henderson's mind raced. The Morgath ships were targeting primarily military vessels, avoiding civilian casualties. They wanted a battle, not a massacre. They needed humans to appear as aggressors, not monsters. Hail all ships, Henderson ordered. Human and Allied, do not return fire. Repeat, do not return fire. Sir, Pete protested, they're taking damage. I know. Henderson turned to Krenel. You want us to look like the threat, but we won't play your game. Instead, Henderson had another idea. Kate, patch me through to all frequencies, system-wide broadcast. When connections opened, Henderson spoke clearly. This is Captain James Henderson of the USS Independence. We are witnessing a manufactured crisis. The attacking ships use human weapon signatures to falsely implicate us. They are controlled by Admiral Krenel, attempting to validate his lies. Static filled the communication channels as Krenel's forces tried to jam the message. Prove it, Krenel challenged. Henderson smiled grimly. Tony, lock sensors on the attacking ships. Full spectrum analysis. Mike worked his console. Got it, sir. Scanning for inconsistencies in their signatures. The Independence's advanced sensors penetrated Krenel's deception. Behind the projected energy signatures, the weapon systems showed their true nature, modified but distinctly non-human technology. Broadcasting the real signatures now, Tony reported. Across the system, allies began receiving the truth. The attacking ships weren't human design at all. They were Morgath vessels using stolen technology to fake human energy patterns. The deception fails, the Kethrin Admiral announced over the command channel. All units defend yourselves. Target the true enemy. The battle that followed was brief but decisive. Allied forces, now united in truth rather than divided by fear, overwhelmed Krenel's ships. The Morgath vessels, built for intimidation rather than real combat, crumbled quickly. On the Independence's bridge, Krenel watched his empire dissolve. His forces surrendered or fled, his years of careful manipulation undone in hours. Why? Henderson asked simply. Krenel leaned back, defeated. Power. Fear is the strongest uniter. While they feared you, they needed me. But the cost, Dr. Peterson noted. Resources wasted, trust destroyed, almost war between dozens of species. Almost war is better than actual war, Krenel said. The Morgath were weak. We needed unity to survive. By making everyone else hate us, Rick questioned. By making everyone else need me, Krenel corrected. Henderson studied the fallen admiral. You could have just asked for help, formed real alliances based on mutual need, not manufactured fear. Would you have helped? Before this? The question hung in the air. Would Earth have risked its ships and people to protect former enemies? Or did peace truly require a common threat, even a false one? Before Henderson could answer, alerts sounded. New ships were arriving. Sir, Amy reported, we've got incoming. The view screen showed human ships emerging from hyperspace. The USS Resolution, USS Defiance, and USS Horizon, 3 warships representing Earth's military strength in this sector. Commander Brian Wilson of the Resolution hailed immediately. Independence, what's your status? We received distress signals reporting human ships attacking Allied forces. Henderson took a deep breath. He had to tell the truth, even if it seemed impossible. Sir, I need to explain something. It's going to sound crazy, but there's evidence to back every word. As Henderson began recounting the past 48 hours, he realized something important. The truth, no matter how strange, was always better than the most comfortable lie. The Catherine system would forever remember the day they stopped fighting shadows and started building real alliances. And Admiral Krenel's greatest fear came true. Not that humans were gods of war, but that they were exactly what they claimed to be, explorers seeking cooperation in a vast galaxy. With the arrival of Earth's reinforcements, the situation in the Catherine system shifted dramatically. Commander Wilson demanded a full tactical review, which lasted through the night. By morning, Earth Command had authorized a formal investigation. This is unprecedented, Wilson admitted as they surveyed the evidence. One admiral manipulated 8 species into believing we were monsters. The captured Morgath bases revealed incredible detail. Krenel had created entire departments dedicated to the human deception. Thousands of personnel had worked to alter footage, modify energy signatures, and plant false evidence across the galaxy. Look at this. Rick Thompson called from a recovered data center. The screens displayed a massive organizational chart. Krenel had spies in every major species intelligence service. They fed false information about human activities for 15 years. Dr. Peterson examined translation matrices that deliberately mistranslated human communications to sound more threatening. When we said we come in peace, their systems translated it as we come with power. But the investigators uncovered something more troubling. Krenel wasn't acting alone. A shadow organization called the Council of Preservation had funded and supported his operations. Their goal, unite the galaxy through controlled fear. They believed it was the only way to prevent galactic war, Mike Chang explained after decrypting their records. Create a common enemy powerful enough to scare everyone into cooperation. The council included members from 7 different species, including some who had joined the Catherine Defense Fleet. The discovery sent shockwaves through the assembled alien representatives. Admiral Henderson faced a difficult choice: expose the council and risk destroying the fragile peace they'd just achieved, or let the conspirators remain hidden, potentially to strike again. The solution came from an unexpected source. The Helix delegate, who had fought hardest against the truth initially, proposed a new approach. Create a truth commission, the crystal being suggested. Every species has been affected. Every species should have a voice in how we move forward. The proposal gained support quickly. Within days, representatives from all involved species gathered on a neutral station to establish the commission. Its mandate: uncover all deceptions, identify all conspirators, and prevent future manufactured conflicts. Admiral Krenel faced the commission with surprising calm. His trial lasted 3 weeks. Evidence mounted against him daily, yet he seemed almost relieved to finally speak openly. I spent my life studying human technical manuals from the crashed ships, he testified. Your problem-solving ability fascinated me. Every solution created 3 new innovations. Your species thinks differently than any other. So you turned that admiration into fear, the commission's lead prosecutor asked. I turned it into necessity, Krenel corrected. The Morgath Empire was dying, split by civil wars, threatened by stronger neighbors. We needed an external threat to survive, and, once you had it, it grew beyond control, Krenel admitted. The lies became bigger. The fear became real. What started as survival became ambition. The commission uncovered Council of Preservation members slowly. Some surrendered voluntarily. Others attempted to flee and were captured. Each confession revealed new layers of manipulation. We calculated the probability of natural species cooperation, one council member explained. Without manufactured external pressure, the chance of sustained peace between traditionally hostile species was less than 12%. Henderson listened to the testimonies with growing concern. The council's data wasn't wrong. Historical records showed repeated cycles of conflict and brief peace across the galaxy. Their methodology was twisted, but their problem was real. During the 6th week of proceedings, something unexpected happened. Ships began arriving from neutral systems, species who had heard rumors about the proceedings. They came not as witnesses but as mediators. The Draenei, known for their neutral stance in conflicts, proposed an alternative solution. Transform the Commission into something permanent, a Galactic Truth Council, not to punish the past, but to verify the future. The proposal resonated with many delegates. The Zoraki ambassador, whose species had suffered heavily under Krenel's manipulation, supported the idea strongly. We need trust, not vengeance, the tentacled being declared. The council gave us something we needed, unity. But they gave us the wrong reason for it. Henderson found himself in multiple private meetings. Species leaders wanted to understand human intentions now that the truth was out. Many still harbored fear, not of human power, but of human judgment. You could have exposed us all, the Kethran admiral admitted during one discussion, revealed how quickly we believe the worst, shown our technological inferiority. What would that accomplish? Henderson responded. Making you feel weak won't make us stronger. These conversations shaped the Truth Council's final structure. Each species contributed technology to a central verification system. No claims about others could go unchallenged. No secrets about military capabilities could remain hidden. Transparency through mutual exposure, Dr. Peterson termed it. Everyone shares data, everyone verifies claims. The Council of Preservation's fate remained the most controversial issue. Some species demanded punishment. Others argued for mercy, citing their well-intentioned goals. Henderson eventually proposed a solution that satisfied no one completely but worked for most. Council members would serve the new Truth Council, using their skills for verification rather than deception. They understand information warfare better than anyone, he reasoned. Use that knowledge to prevent future manipulation. Krenel accepted the arrangement. His appearance at the announcement shocked many. The defeated admiral had aged visibly during proceedings. His metallic skin had lost its luster. I wanted to protect my people, he said simply. I became what I claimed to fight, against a threat to galactic peace. The transformation wasn't complete. Tensions remained between species who had been enemies for generations. But fear no longer controlled their actions. Truth, verified and shared, replaced suspicion. 6 months after the USS Independence's arrival, the system hosted a different ceremony. The newly completed Truth Council station floated at the system's edge, a joint construction project involving 23 species. Human ships remained in orbit, not as conquerors or guards, but as equal participants. The Independence had been modified to serve as an education vessel, teaching young beings from different species about Earth culture and technology. We're not the galactic saviors some stories claim. Henderson addressed the station's inauguration. We're not the monsters others feared. We're explorers who solve problems, sometimes in strange ways. Now we can be partners in solving bigger problems. The station's primary function was verification and translation, but it also served as a meeting place where species could interact without the filter of fear. Understanding gradually replaced suspicion. Rick Thompson, promoted for his role in exposing the conspiracy, was chosen to lead the first mixed-species crew aboard the station. His team included former enemies working together to monitor galactic communications and prevent future deceptions. The irony isn't lost on me, he joked at his commissioning. They feared humans would unite the galaxy through conquest. Instead, we united it through exposition. The real work was just beginning. Species still harbored deep-seated conflicts. Trust couldn't be rebuilt overnight. But for the first time in generations, the galaxy faced its problems with clear vision rather than manufactured fears. Krenel, serving as a senior analyst for the Truth Council, made one final observation. Fear united us temporarily. Truth might unite us permanently. We'll see which foundation holds longer. The Kethrin system, once frozen by fear of human arrivals, now bustled with cooperation. And somewhere in the vast darkness, the USS Independence continued its mission, not as a harbinger of doom, but as a catalyst for understanding. 1 year after the USS Independence made first contact, the Kethrin Prime Station celebrated its anniversary. Ships from 32 species gathered peacefully, the same number that had once formed a fearful ring around the human battleship. Captain Henderson stood at the observation deck, watching crews work together. Kethrin engineers helped repair Zoraki ships. Helix scientists shared crystal technology with human researchers. The sight that would have been impossible months ago now happened daily. "The galaxy still calls you the Frozen Star Incident," said Admiral Kethnar, clicking his mandibles in amusement. "When the galaxy froze in fear at human arrival." "Better than what they used to call it," Henderson replied. "The Day of Doom." Tony Miller approached, now wearing the insignia of the Truth Council. "Sir, the stats are in. In the past year, 17 potential conflicts have been prevented through the verification system." "And how many false claims?" Henderson asked. 43 attempted, all caught before spreading." Tony grinned. "People still try to create fake threats, but now everyone can check the truth instantly." The door opened. Rick Thompson entered with his mixed species crew from the Truth Station. They wore uniforms combining elements from all participating species, a visual reminder of their united purpose. "Krenel wants to speak with you, Captain," Rick reported. "He's developed something new." In the station's development lab, Krenel worked alongside the Morgath scientist who had once created false battle footage. Now they built together instead of faking destruction. "Captain," Krenel greeted him, "we've solved a problem. The same technology that created false human signatures, we've reversed it to verify authentic ones." He demonstrated on a holographic display. Ships passing through Council space generated unique energy patterns that couldn't be faked. Any attempt to impersonate another species' vessels would immediately trigger alerts. "No more manufactured threats," Krenel explained. "No more fear based on lies." Henderson nodded approvingly. "From deception to protection, that's progress." Outside, construction drones assembled new modules for the expanding station. Every species contributed resources, competing for positive recognition rather than dominance through fear. Amy Brooks, promoted to station commander, gave a tour to visiting dignitaries. "Our research labs combine the best minds from all member species. The theoretical physics department alone has made breakthroughs that would have taken centuries working separately." In the memorial hall, a wall displayed artifacts from the era of fear. Modified ship fragments, falsified documents, propaganda images. Visitors studied humanity's actual history. Explorers, not conquerors. Problem solvers, not destroyers. "We keep the lies visible," Dr. Peterson explained to students from various species. "To remember how easily truth can be twisted, and how important it is to verify everything we hear about others." The Independence prepared for departure on its anniversary. Its mission complete, the ship would return to Earth to share its experience and continue exploring. Before leaving, Henderson gathered his crew for a final observation. From the Yachu ship's windows, they watched the station bustling with interspecies cooperation. The Kethrin defense fleet no longer surrounded them in fear but escorted them as honored guests. "We never fired a shot in anger," Mike Chang noted. "And we changed everything." "We changed nothing," Henderson corrected gently. "We revealed truth. That was already there. The galaxy didn't need us to save it, it needed us to help it see clearly." Pete Garcia pointed out the window. "Look at those kids. Young beings from different species played together in the station's recreation area, learning each other's games, sharing each other's stories. That's the real victory." Kate Wilson smiled. "Not ending war, but normalizing peace." As the Independence powered up its engines, farewell messages flooded in from the Allied fleet. Where once fear had frozen an entire system, now gratitude and hope warmed the space lanes. The human battleship had arrived, and the galaxy had indeed frozen in fear. But in thawing, it discovered something far more powerful than terror. Trust, forged through truth and cooperation born from understanding. Captain Henderson gave the order. Helm, set course for home. We have quite a story to tell Earth. The USS Independence jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind not a legacy of fear, but a foundation for friendship that would reshape the galaxy. In the void where terror once reigned, genuine alliance began to flourish, and occasionally, in quiet moments at the truth station, the Catherine still told youngsters about the day the human battleship arrived. But now the story ended differently, and they taught us that the greatest fear isn't of the unknown, it's of believing lies about it.